it's Christine, and of course, my friend Library Llama. We are coming to you today from a very small meeting room over at the Granville Library, and we have a couple of books to share with you today. But before we get into that, I want to tell you really quickly about some programs that we have going on right now for teens, which we're pretty excited about and hope you will be as well. If you've been tuning into these book talks regularly, you may have heard about some of these already before. So I'm just going to go really quickly to save us some time. And then while I'm talking, I will put a banner down here at the bottom of the screen with a link that you can go to if you want to learn more information about any of these programs. So the first one, as it mentions right along the bottom of the screen here, is the Wright, Michigan Short Story Contest. It is open to all ages, and prizes include the chance to be published in the 2020 Wright, Michigan Anthology, and then there are cash prizes available to be won as well. We also, in October, have the Teen Photo Challenge coming up. So that's for all of you photographers out there, and we are offering some prizes for that as well. They're going to be gift cards, so keep an eye out for that if you are interested in photography. And then also starting in October, we're going to start taking submissions for the Teen Film Festival, which we do every year, and it is going to be happening this year. There might be a few changes because of COVID, but it will continue to happen this year as well. And there will be prizes awarded for various categories. All right, while I get into the books here, let me just quick explain that when I'm telling you about a book, I will have a banner at the bottom of the screen that will look kind of like this one, and that will just tell you where you can get this book and in what format. So if this is the one that popped up while I was talking about a book, it would be telling you that you can get, just a regular print book through your preferred KDL branch, but you could also stream an audiobook through our app Hoopla or get it as an ebook through our app Meleby. So if you want to know more about Hoopla and Meleby in our other apps that we offer and kind of get signed up for those, instructions can be found at kdl.org/downloads. And I'm going to try my best to remember to actually change the banners for each book that I'm telling you about. The first book that I have for you today is called Tinfoil Crowns by Erin Jones, and it is about a character whose name is Fit. That's her nickname that she goes by, and Fit is many things. For starters, she is very spirited, a little bit rebellious, a bit of a prankster, really, which I really appreciated about her. She's also a YouTuber. She posts videos on her channel, in which she performs original raps about pop culture while wearing accessories made out of tinfoil that are made for her by her younger brother, Frankie, who's very artistic. She also happens to be the survivor of attempted murder. Her mother, River, was very ill when Fit was a child, and that illness led her to try to kill her two young children, Fit and Frankie. Thankfully, they did both survive. They were rescued by a neighbor, and River has been in prison since then, and Fit has not had any contact with her. So Fit figures, despite everything, all the chaos that her mom caused in her life, she's doing pretty well, and her internet fame is on the rise. And one day, she gets a message from a talent agent, a really famous talent agent, who says that he is interested in representing her. But before he can sign her as a client, she has to prove that she can continue kind of the success that she is having, and she has to get her audience numbers up by just a little bit. This is Fit's way out of her life, her way out of the small town that was raised in and is living in. It's her way out of kind of the paycheck to paycheck existence that her family has been stuck in. And if she's able to make this into a career, she could financially support her grandfather. He could finally retire. She could pay for her younger brother, Frankie, to go to art school. And of course, she could live kind of this fabulous life that she's been dreaming of and that she thinks she's kind of meant to lead. But then one day, Fit gets news that her mother, River, is going to be released from prison. And if that isn't bad enough, she is actually coming to live with Fit, her grandfather, and her brother. So as you can guess, Fit is very unhappy about this, and she feels like her mother is going to ruin kind of this life that she's built up for herself, and this life that she is trying to create and this success with her YouTube channel. And she swears that she will do whatever is necessary to make sure that doesn't happen and to make sure all of her dreams do come true. Most of the book is from Fit's perspective, but there are some chapters interspersed throughout from River's perspective. So this allows the audience to kind of sympathize with both characters and to get a better understanding of what happened all of those years ago and how it continues to affect the lives of both of these women. Both characters are really complex. They have a lot of layers, a lot of flaws, just like real people. And this book, Tinfoil Crowns, is a fantastic option for anyone who likes character-driven stories or who just wants to read about the joys and pains of internet stardom. Next up, oh, that was close, there we go, is The Black Flamingo by Dean Atta. This is a new book. It is a coming-of-age story. It's written in verse, which is like a type of poetry, and I think it will really appeal to fans of Elizabeth Acevedo. It follows Michael. Michael is a British gay teen of Jamaican and Greek descent, and it follows him throughout many years of his life. It kind of starts when he's 6 years old, and it just kind of like you get to see these little snapshots of these moments that were important to him and important to him becoming who he does later in the book. And it kind of follows him through his first year of college with a main focus on that first year. And for a long time, Michael really feels like he's struggling to connect with the people around him. He feels out of place, whether he's with his classmates or his Black Jamaican family or with his Greek family. He always kind of feels like a fish out of water. And he's really fascinated by black flamingos, which are real. I did look it up, but they are incredibly rare. It's like 1 in millions will be black. And he feels like he can kind of relate to this flamingo and to what he imagines a black flamingo feels, kind of being an outsider among their fellow flamingos. And so writing poetry and then later doing drag kind of gives Michael an outlet to explore his identity and kind of make sense of the world and his place in it. The book is written in first person, so it really feels like Michael's just kind of telling you the story of his life, like a memoir. And the poetry is kind of freestyle, so we're not talking like Shakespearean sonnets or haikus or anything like that. In fact, it kind of has the feel of slam poetry, which he does perform it several times through the book. So it's really just like you're listening to Michael perform about his life. And it's a really cool feel. It's really energizing. It's really engaging. And I had an incredibly hard time putting this one down whenever I had to like go to work or go to sleep or other important things like that. This is a fantastic story about finding yourself, finding your people, and finding confidence and pride in who you are. Next up is The Silence of Bones by June Her. In early 19th century Korea, 16-year-old Seol yearns for respect and for a chance to rise above her low station. She's a servant. She's indentured to the police bureau, and the type of servant that she is like considered the lowest of the low. During this time in Korean history, there were really strict rules about how men and women could interact, and honor was very important. And one of the aspects of honor was following those rules. And some of the rules kind of caused difficulties for the police. For example, they couldn't talk to women about certain topics. They couldn't touch women in certain instances. So they had these servants who would go along with them and would help them arrest female criminals, question female witnesses, even move and conduct autopsies on female corpses. So Seol, the main character, is one of these servants. And when a noble woman is found with her throat cut and her nose removed, Seol is assigned to help the police inspector investigate the death, which they believe could be linked to a recent string of murders. Seol is completely transfixed by the case from the start. She kind of becomes a little obsessive about it, and she's determined to track down the killer. And she kind of goes off on her own investigation when she feels that the police aren't doing everything that they could or should be doing to find the killer. But as she's drawn deeper, the sinister mystery gets more complicated than she ever could have imagined, with ties to rising religious tension, dangerous government officials, and Soul's own missing brother. This atmospheric book is kind of like a slow burn, with the story intensifying as you go along and delve deeper into the mystery. It's really well researched, it has a strong sense of place, and investigates the darker, more twisted aspects of humankind, honor, and vengeance. Strangers Assume My Girlfriend Is My Nurse by Shane Burcaw is our next book. In this nonfiction book, Shane Burcaw candidly shares true stories of embarrassments, struggles, and adventures from his own life. Shane and his cousin are the founders of a nonprofit called Laughing at My Nightmare, and one of the things that they do is to provide free adaptive and medical equipment to people, because those things can be incredibly expensive, as Shane knows firsthand, because he has spinal muscular atrophy, which is a rare genetic disorder that causes progressive muscle degeneration, and so he relies on a wheelchair to get around. And if Shane or his name sound familiar to you, it could be because he is also a successful blogger, author, speaker, and YouTuber. He is a great storyteller, so the book is totally worth reading just to enjoy some good stories, but it also explores some more difficult aspects of life. Specifically, Shane shares about his fear of being a burden to the people around him, using humor to contend with frustrating situations, and about the time he lost his childhood innocence and kind of discovered how vulnerable he was to the world around him. I think a lot of these things are really relatable to a lot of people, although the way that they experience these situations may be different than Shane's experiences. Overall, I think the concepts are pretty universal. There's a lot of the humor in this book as well. You'll read about Shane accidentally ruining his insanely expensive electric wheelchair, the ways that he and his girlfriend, now wife, would mess with people who assume that she's his nurse or sister or even mother, which has happened, and it seems very strange, and the many other, sometimes inadvisable, poorly planned, and or semi-disastrous adventures upon which Shane and his friends have embarked through the years. This book is a perfect blend between thoughtful reflection and laugh-out-loud stories, and will leave you wanting more. And the last one I have for you is In the Role of Brie Hutchins by Nicole Melleby, and I love this book. It feels kind of like the movie Lady Bird, just for middle school instead of high school. And this is the book that I wish that I had when I was in middle school. It's incredible. The main character, Brie, goes to Catholic school, and just like me, when I was in 8th grade, she was also super excited to be in 8th grade and had been waiting for her 8th grade year to come around, because in 8th grade, she gets to be a part of the school play, finally. And she loves soap operas and has always dreamed of becoming an actress. She's got a whole plan to make it happen, and it starts right here, right now, with getting the lead in the school play. But this is not her only lofty goal for the year, because every May at her school, one student is chosen to crown the statue of Mary, the Mother of Jesus, at the school's Easter chapel. This is considered a huge honor, and it is decided by writing essays. The person with the best essay gets chosen to crown Mary. And this is a bit of a problem, because Brie does not think that she's very good at school. It's definitely something she struggles with. And she also kind of maybe already told her mother that she was chosen, and there is a specific reason she told her mother that, but I'll let you read the book to find out. So now she has to find a way to make all of her plans happen. But just like in real life, not everything goes according to plan, and Brie's plans are complicated when she starts falling for her arch rival, the seemingly perfect and frustratingly perfect Kennedy Bishop. This book is heartwarming. It features a believable, spunky main character, and it's about identity, family, and growing up, with just the right amount of tween angst thrown in there. Thank you so much for listening. I really appreciate it. I hope you heard about something that sounds interesting. And if you want more book talks, make sure to tune in next week. Have a great day.